Whoops, sorry. What's up, everybody? What's going on, everybody? It's December 7th, 2015. This is Mr. KB. Before we get started, I gotta put out the disclaimer, like always, because this is going to relate to the video game industry. I work for Blizzard Entertainment. I am quality assurance there. But this following piece, this following opinion is mine and mine alone. I in no way represent the opinions or values of Blizzard Entertainment and any of their partners. This is being brought to you by me, myself, my soul, my passion for video games, and what it means to me. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. So, let's take a little trip in time, my time. Uh, I'm a freshman in high school, roughly. I believe I was a freshman, and I see this commercial. The commercial blows my mind, and at that moment, I didn't know what that commercial would mean to me and the rest of my life. And somehow I'm tearing up thinking about going that far back in time. I guess because I'm getting old. um, the commercial was for a game. That game was Final Fantasy VII. The minute I saw that commercial, I knew I had to have the game. I just knew it. I didn't play any of the Final Fantasy games before it. I believe the closest thing I've played to any of those games prior to Final Fantasy VII being RPGs in general was Dragon Quest for the Super Nintendo. I mean, not even for Super Nintendo, for the Nintendo. Back when you would just walk around like the four squares in front of the castle to just kill the slimes to level up like 2 or 3 times before you went out and killed the bigger monsters. Um, but Dragon Quest was the game that I most related to it. And I really had very little experience with Final Fantasy as a whole. But as soon as I saw the commercial for 7, I knew I had to have that game. I knew it. There was something about the way it was presented, even though what they showed was mostly CGI and not the actual game itself. But I knew I had to have it. I bought it day one. I still have the actual 3 disc sets, the original the black backs with the original black label, not the greatest hits. I have it somewhere in the house. I don't know where. We recently saw it. We put it away for safekeeping because I don't like to have it thrown around where my kids or my nephews and my kid have access to it. I play the game and it changed my life. As lame as it sounds, excuse me. As lame as it sounds, from maybe somebody looking out and even looking at me now as a 32-year-old man, to say that a video game changed your life, I guess to an outsider that sounds pathetic. But the minute I played that game, I knew for a fact that I wanted to be part of the video game industry. Now, there had been other games that tugged at my heartstrings, that made me how can I say, that made me love gaming more. Some of them being Blizzard games, which is why I am very fortunate to be working for Blizzard. StarCraft was a big part of my high school life. Warcraft 2 was a big part of me and my cousin's life. Like the memories we had playing over the phone lines and just hooking it up, like staying up until 3, 4 a.m. and having our mother scream at us because every time we were connected to a game, you would hear the old hardline connection. And our mothers had to work at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and all summer long you hear their kids just back and forth opening doors, back and forth, and they don't know, they're panicking like, where the hell are my kids going? And I had moments like that. I had games like that. Mega Man 2 being another one that was another game that made me fall in love with gaming. But none of those games really made me want to be in the industry the way Final Fantasy VII were. That was how I dictated my approach. Yes, to many of you, maybe I'm just a QA guy. I'm just a tester. But I always approach my job with that passion of, if my name's attached to it, if I'm doing anything to this product, I want to make sure that it's of the best quality, because that's what Final Fantasy meant to me. It was one of those experiences that was of the best quality. I wanted to bring that out. I wanted to bring up the level of passion that I think that product had, that game had back in the days, and I wanted to reincarnate that as many times as I possibly could, even in the smallest ways, even if it was something that there was no way that me being passionate about it would even help the end product. And I've had worked in a lot of games that way, where like no matter what I did, no matter how passionate I was about trying to make that game or give suggestions on how to make that game better and not being listened to, I still approach my work in that way, where if if I can just give a suggestion and it'll be just that little bit better. And sometimes I have been right, sometimes I've been wrong. That, like somebody out there be like, "Oh my gosh," and just have their mind blown. And that's always been my passion. It's always been my approach to working in this industry, was just full of passion because I love it so much. So I played it, and that was the moment that I knew. That was 20 years ago. It might have been eighth grade. I'm sure, was I a freshman? I can't even remember. Um, you know what? I'm sorry. I should have probably looked this up, but let me look up the actual release date of the original Final Fantasy. January 31st, 1997. Yeah, so I was like a freshman in high school. Perfect. I was a freshman in high school. I was right. My memory has served me right. Okay. So then we're going to fast forward to the PS2 games, or the PS2 days, early 2001, maybe early 2002. Not sure when this came out, but it was E3. Might have been early. It might have been actually even mid 2000. But PS2 was being released, and one of the first tech demos they show is the the intro to Final Fantasy VII redone, remade. It was a tech demo. The crowd goes insane, just crazy, and nothing happens. The biggest troll for any Final Fantasy VII fan during the PS2 games was that seeing that tech demo and having nothing come out of it. And then we got Final Fantasy X, which was, Then we got a spin-off to Final Fantasy X. We got 11 online, and we got some other things that we got. So nothing happened. And then PS3, and the same rumors start floating around. And then you start getting like the re-releases of Final Fantasy VII. You start getting, all these rumors again. And you start thinking, oh my god, it's gonna happen. Can you imagine this game on the PS3? It's gonna be so bad. And nothing happens. So at this point, we've gone through. Well, we played the game during the PS1 era. We're going to the PS2 era, which was like 01. We went 5 years there. It takes us to 06, 07, 5, 6 years. Bring us to the PS3 era. PS3 eras, goes on for about 7, 8 years. And now we're in the PS4 era. And we get to the first time as a grown ass man that I shed tears over a game, and I was close, was last year's Sony experience. They bring out one of the guys from Square Enix. They start talking about things Square Enix is doing. I believe it was focused around Kingdom Hearts 3 and some of the stuff. And I was like, we have one more announcement. And right behind them, they show the front of Final Fantasy VII. And I literally go, and I'm gasping. I'm gasping. I'm like, and he goes, yeah, the PC version is gonna be ported over to the PS4, and but we'll have more information. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker! And I'm thinking So I almost cried. And my son was next to me, and I even told him, I think I'm about to cry. I think I'm about to cry, boy. He's like, Dad, why are you about to cry? I'm like, you shut up! You don't know why I'm about to cry. I'm about to cry. And nothing comes of it. And then E3 rolls around, and I watch the press conference, and I always watch the Sony press conference because I've been a big Sony fan for the longest time. I mean, you can call me a fanboy if you'd like, that's fine. I've been a big Sony fan, and a lot of the games are the reason why I have stayed attached to that console and that company as a whole for a while. They just make games that I really like. They had Metal Gear Solid 4, they have Uncharted games, they have even to I guess a lesser, more niche degree, they have Ratchet and Clank, and they have a bunch of other games that I really, really do like. And the Hot Shots Golf being another one of those niche titles that I really, really love. And I stayed watching, and at the end, after I believe Shenmue 3 was announced, you see the announcement, and they tease it, and as soon as they show the playground. Now, for anybody who has played the original Final Fantasy VII, you know that playground. That playground is ingrained in your mind in Midgar. Like, you know it. You know that big ass pink slide. That big round weird looking pink slide. Like, you know it. That is probably the most iconic inanimate object in a video game ever. What? Outside of the actual question blocks or the question bricks from Mario, that slide is probably one of the most iconic inanimate objects ever. And as soon as I saw that, I go, no. I'm about to start crying. I go, no. And they play it, and it comes out, and that bullshit. Not even thinking back to like that moment, I'm about to start fucking crying. I was on my work computer. I believe work had just finished. My friend had come over, and they fucking announced it. And I fucking start tearing up, tears rolling down my cheeks. I'm like, oh my god, it's happening, oh! And they announce it. Final Fantasy is being remade, blah, blah, blah. And oh my goodness, like, you talk about waiting for something that can be so bittersweet. It took, what is it, 18 years, roughly? 18 years to get to that point. It took 18 years to see another version of the game that I like so much. And we'll really just call it, we'll minus 4, because the PS1, it came out during the PS1 era. You can't remake the game while it's in PS1. So, like, since PS2 and that Take That Mo was shown in early 2000, you're talking about 14 years. Roughly. 14? 01 to 15? 14 years. You're talking about 14 years of people waiting for that game to be remade. And it finally happened. And then they show more of it in this year's, just passed over the weekend, actually, Sony Experience. And they show the title, and they changed the combat system, but the game looks so gorgeous, and just having all those memories just rehashed in my mind again, and just going, oh, this is going to be so great. So I just spent 15 minutes talking about what this game kind of means to me, the emotion that I have connected to it. And now comes the part where I'm going to get slightly angry and bitter. And before I guess I get into it, I understand that game development is an expensive venture. Even for the most established companies, to make something new, or even to bring something that's iconic, that was made back in the days, to match new expectations in both graphics, gameplay, sound, everything. I understand. It's an expensive venture. Okay, I understand we're not talking 1 or 2 million. At this point, to remake a game or even to R&D and make a new IP, a new product, we're talking closer to maybe 100 million. And maybe I'm over exaggerating that number, but that's the number that's in my head. Just because if you look around at what some of these games actually cost, and some of them what are rumored to cost, say like a Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, those are rumored to have budgets of between 60 and $100 million with everything. That's including marketing and all that other stuff. Yesterday, they revealed, but didn't really quite reveal, the fact that Final Fantasy VII will most likely be episodic. Meaning that you're going to have a Final Fantasy VII Part 1, Final Fantasy VII Part 2, Final Fantasy VII Part 3, however many parts they decide to make of the Final Fantasy VII series to make it. Now, the original game came on 3 discs. That was a big, expensive undertaking game 18 years ago. For it to be on 3 discs, you know there's a lot of passion that went into it. You know there's a lot of money that went into it. But the industry and the world has changed in the last 20 years. And part of it is being that I believe, and I think this was made the game so great, was that that game was made going into it with, let's make something great. The gamers will buy it and love it. And if they don't, so what? That is my romantic idea of how the original Final Fantasy VII was developed, was researched, was everything. Now we fast forward 18 years later, and now it's no secret that Square Enix is not, well, I mean, back in the days, it wasn't even Square Enix, it was Squaresoft. But it's no secret that Square Enix, the reason why the Square Enix is because they had to merge portfolios and stuff. I'm busy! There's no reason, there's no secret that Square Enix had to merge to kind of stay afloat because one was suffering here, the other one was suffering in Japan. And they merged, and a lot of the products haven't been doing well. Final Fantasy is not the big mega blockbuster that it used to be. Dragon Quest, same thing, is not the big, huge mega blockbuster that it used to be. I mean, yes, in Japan, Dragon Warriors is a big title. Final Fantasy, not so much over there. Final Fantasy is bigger here, and not so much in Japan. But the way that this sounds was that after struggling for 18 years, even with some of the acquisitions they made in games that they have been able to make into a resurgence type of following, such as Hitman and Tomb Raider, those are now Square Enix games, and they've been able to resurge those games to a new audience. And for the most part, I think those games are pretty true to the original, but they capture a new audience. And it sounds like Final Fantasy VII is kind of heading for that same thing, but when you say that you want to release a game, one of the best, how can I put this? See, I gotta choose my words not wisely here, but I want them to be, I guess when you have to put it, like, one of the most epic experiences when you have to split up one of the most epic solid experiences, whole experience, into episodes, it makes me think that there was a meeting going, hey, look, we're not doing as great as we thought we would be. We're not doing as great as we want to be. We could be doing better. We're doing pretty good. We're making millions, but we need to make tens of millions. How can we do that? Well, people have been wanting this Final Fantasy thing for a while. You're right. Bam, we'll take it. We're going to do that. We're going to put money into Final Fantasy VII. We're going to remake it. But how are we going to, we're going to have to invest 60 million. We're going to have to invest 100 million to make all that content redone. And we're going to have to license the Unreal 4 engine because they're actually doing it in Unreal 4. and we're gonna do all this. It's gonna cost $100 million. How can we make that $1 million? We'll split it up. Now, what the price of those episodes are going to be is unknown because that information has not been revealed. And to be fair, the fact that it's episodic has been kind of hinted but not necessarily confirmed. But the language for that is there. It makes me feel like this Final Fantasy VII Remake is not made with the gamer at heart. It's not made for the artistic value. It's not made for the artistic soul and passion of this industry. It's made to fucking milk us because they know people like me and the millions of people like me want this game so bad. Now, this is an article on Polygon. I'll link it down below. And this is where I guess some of this rage is going to be. The title of the actual article is Final Fantasy VII Remake will be bigger than the original, made in Unreal Engine 4. More details emerge about Final Fantasy HD FF7. Okay, then it starts off. Square Enix will split Final Fantasy VII Remake into several installments. I guess the language for them is there. Because the game is too large for a single volume, Famitsu reports, which is their biggest publisher, their biggest publication in Japan, gaming publication that is. The publication spoke with series producer Yoshinori Katase and director Tetsuya Nomura in an interview featuring in this latest issue, in which the pair discussed the choice to release the game. I guess they've confirmed. The choice to release the game in multiple parts. Square Enix first revealed the news in a press release yesterday. It's going to be multi-part because we consider fully remaking Final Fantasy VII in PS4 quality. As we look over much of it, we estimate the volume to be beyond what could fit in one entry, Nomura explained. Cutting up the game into installments means the team won't have to sacrifice as much of the content it would be necessary with just one game. I don't know what the fuck that actually means. What exactly do you need to cut out? Have you not played the original? The game is packed full of content. I'm just saying, I don't know what the fuck that actually means. It was made on 3 discs. I don't care if this game is made on 3 Blu-rays. Again, I don't know what the fuck that actually means. While some elements will be lost, the team will compensate by allowing greater exploration of certain areas like the sprawling city of Midgar. Alright. And then a representative of Square Enix later confirmed to Polygon that each entry will have its own unique story as a gaming experience. Each entry will have the column of contents equal to a full-size game. And it goes on from there. If you guys want to read it, I'll link it down below. So, it's going to be episodic. And this can go one or two ways. The rage for me is not there yet, but this sounds like the beginning of some bullshit. This sounds like the beginning of Square Enix and their suits trying to milk this game knowing that people like me will buy it. Like, this is how invested I would have been in this game had they just, say, updated the combat system, of course, remade all of Midgard PS4 quality, and change some of the things like, the combat's obviously going to be changed. Change some of the chocobo breeding, obviously, because even that was daunting back in the days. You could easily just spend 60, 70, 100 hours just chocobo breeding. And, as long as you don't touch the material system too much and leave that core element there, as long as you leave the core, the spirit of the game there, I don't mind the updates you have to actually do to make this something that's more, I guess, generation appropriate. Turn-based style RPGs are something of a love it or hate it. I don't mind it. I don't necessarily love it, but for that game, I would understand it. But obviously, people who are younger than me would not. What the fuck is this? But it sounds like this was made to, again, milk us. But this is my level of interest in the title. When the game comes out with a special edition, day one, I will find some store, even if I hate the store, I will find some store, pre-order the special edition, the most expensive special edition that you're going to have, day one. When you announce that you're going to make a special edition PS4, because it's going to happen. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. This is just rumor and speculation. I have no first-hand knowledge of this. But when the foreseeable special edition PS4 Final Fantasy bundle in Final Fantasy colors is announced, I already have a PS4. I'm buying that too. Day one. I'm buying that too. When you announce a revamping or something of Advent Children, buying it. If you're going to release a special edition Final Fantasy VII Vita, even though I have a Vita that I don't use, buying it. Even if it comes with a crappy LCD screen, not the OLED, buying it day one. Easily there, we're talking about close to $800 minimum. Minimum, we're talking about $800. Now, I'm not the only person that would go that crazy. Maybe I'm in a larger part of the minority, but I'm pretty sure there's 500,000 other people out there just like me with that crazy ass type of passion for this game. When you tell me that the game is too large to fit into one tree, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Did you not play the original game? What the hell did you think you were getting into when you were remaking this title? Well, what exactly did you think was going to happen? Did you think that we wanted disc 1 first, and then disc 2, and then disc 3 all separate? That is not what the old generation wanted from this remake. This is what we wanted. We essentially wanted the same game remade in the quality for whatever system it was going to come out for, whether it be PS2, PS3, now that it's coming on PS4, PS4. It needs to look like a PS4 game. If you want to change some of the core systems, but keep the actual spirit of that core system in play to make it more approachable by new generation gamers, that's fine. But to say that, oh, it's too large, and no, that sounds like some horse shit right there. That's video game talk for, we know you want it, you're gonna get it, but you're gonna fucking pay us for it. That's what that shit tells me. That's what that tells me. And that is what is killing this industry. Yes, this industry is probably the most profitable that it's been. But the actual spirit of what this industry was supposed to be has been robbed by fucking greed for the need for a large chunk of money. Now, if you find a way to make money in this industry, look, kudos to you. Kudos to you. But just because you can make money doesn't necessarily make you successful. Games that come out for mobile, we all know which ones, they are. And you go, how the hell does that game make so much money? Doesn't mean the game is good. Doesn't mean that I guess from a business standpoint, yes, it's successful. But as far as a gamer, for what the industry actually entails, what the industry actually needs from a game to be successful, to be one of the ones that go down in history, those games are not even fucking blips. Those games are not even blips. They will be forgotten. Nobody will even know who they are. Those don't transcend generations. Those are successful for the 1 or 2 years that you can actually make the millions, and then that's it. Now, from a business standpoint, who cares? You get your money and you take off. That's fine. But that's not what this industry is about. This industry is about transcending generations, about creating experiences for your users to transcend generations. Mario, Zelda, the original Final Fantasy VII, Uncharted. I mean, we can go on and on and on. We really can. About games that take that leap and just go all the way through history. My kid knows what Mario is. My kid knows what Mario Kart is. He knows what Zelda is. He knows who Link is. He knows all these things because his daddy makes sure that he knows about it. Those type of games, StarCraft. I grew up with StarCraft, 1 and StarCraft Brood Wars. My kid loves StarCraft 2. That is his game. Like, he loves that game. That is an IP that transcends generation, just like Mario did. Those are games that transcend. That's what this industry is about. That's the passion that makes this industry what it is. To make those transgenerational bounds just not even matter. It doesn't matter if you were born 20 years after the original game came out. It doesn't matter. The minute you start taking this shit and making it about money, man, you can fuck yourself with that shit. Literally. Like literally. If the point of this remake was to milk it to people like me, hey, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. As much as it pains me, because the original game was so great to me, it was so good, it made me want to be in the industry that I'm in now. But if you go in there with this whole mentality of we're gonna milk it and try to justify it, I'm not buying it. I'm really not buying it. Like literally, not even just buying the excuse of this game is too big, we can't make it in one entry. I'm just not even dealing with that shit. I will take out my original 80 gig, oh sorry, my original 60 gig PS3, find my disc and wherever the hell it is, and I'll play the original. And you know what? To even a smaller scale, I'll buy the re-release of the original on the PS4, and that's the only money you'll get from me. Will be that. I'll play the original Final Fantasy VII on my PS4, and that's all the money you're gonna get from me. Because that is my childhood being played and not being fucked with. That is my gaming spirit not having to deal with fucking corporate greed and fucking bullshit. And that's the experience I want. I don't care that it's fucking dated. But the minute you want to start changing that shit and trying to make it, how much can we milk? Fuck that. Fuck that. So it's been half an hour, and I apologize. And again, some of this rage could probably be unwarranted. Um, the pricing has not been out there. I just want to put it out there. I want to put it out there how this is looking. I want to put it out there what everything means to me from old generation to how it's looking now, and how I feel if worse comes to worse and everything that I don't want to happen happens. That is what all this would actually mean to me. This to me will be the biggest the biggest blow to my gaming soul. I have lost faith in a lot of the practices that are done in this industry because of the practices that are done in this industry now that weren't taking place back then. I understand that people need to make money. I understand people want to make money. This industry is not struggling with making money. I understand people's needs and wants to make more money than they can spend in 10 lifetimes. Why they want to do it is the part that I don't understand. But I understand people's needs for that. But there's just certain things that you don't mess with because eventually you kill that passion, you kill that drive, and people like me will not want to be a part of this anymore. And if that's something you guys can live with, then by all means, you know what? Go ahead and kill it. You see the same thing happening in the music industry, and they struggle to just try to stay afloat with a bunch of shit. They try to monetize their music in different ways. The music that comes out now, in my opinion, 90% of it, 95% of it is soulless dribble. It's crap that is made without passion, without soul, for the sole purpose of being the next mobile hit, of being something that gets downloaded to your iPod, that gets downloaded to whatever the hell it is that you use to play music because it's a cash grab. Not all companies in the gaming industry follow this pattern, but a lot do. And it might sound stupid to an outsider again, but that shit hurts my soul. That hurts my soul. Where this industry used to be about art, used to be about passion, used to be about making experiences that only video games can offer you. It has changed with how can we make an experience that people still want to give us money for. All right, again, these opinions are my own. I don't mean to offend anybody. I don't want to come off as disgruntled. It's just there are very few things in my life that I'm this passionate about. Very few things. Obviously my family, but I mean just my personal things. Um, Gaming, 49ers, and maybe even beer. um, where I don't know. I think sometimes, I mean, there's other things obviously in the world that are going wrong that we can discuss, but you know, it's to each man their own, and this is my own right here. This is where I choose to spend my time, and I'm gonna end it there. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry it took this long to get my point across, but I'll see you guys next time, and I guess we'll see what happens with the whole Final Fantasy VII thing, and yeah, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye.